Hello everyone. This is a quick tutorial on the uh, diagram for those with the odd numbered student number. So I just wanted to go over a couple things. Some of you are having some difficulty with fan centers or how to get started or whatever. So I want to show you a couple things. The first thing I'm going to do is, and you should do, is identify the 120 volt load. So I'm going to take a pen, green pen here, and I'm going to identify the 120 volt load. So obviously we got one right here, which is the blower motor. The igniter is a 120 volt load. That's number two. The induced is called the induced blower, which is a venter or exhauster. That's number three. And this transformer here that is in the fan center is number four. There are four in this diagram 120 volt loads. So let's now identify with orange the 24 volt loads. A 24 volt load is something that does work when you give it power. Here's one right here. That is the gas valve. The second one's the ignition control. This is number two. The third one, which might be the last one, is actually this furnace relay. This is a coil here, okay? So we got power coming in, and it goes through that coil and comes out, goes back down to the C side. So if you want to try and identify, so we'll put a number 3 here, okay? So let's go back up here, and I'm going to trace with white wire all of the neutrals. The neutrals should go to all four of these loads. 1, 2. Okay, I screwed myself up here. Oh, there we are. 3, and 4. So since you have a neutral to each one of those, we now need switches to turn each one of these on. Okay. We should also have the neutral, if you want to call it that, for the 24 volt side is called the letter C. So we should have, oh, I did forget one thing. Let's go back here. Let's go to orange. This is the fourth load on the 24 volt side, and it is the coil for this relay. It's energized when you close R and G at the thermostat. It powers this relay and switches these switches. So we can now identify what loads are being powered by what switches. So let's take a look at the switches that are powering the 120 volts. So the 120 volts are green, so we'll go back to green. What switches? Well, this is a switch right here. So this is we'll call this number 3, and that's power coming in. When this is energized, it closes this switch and powers this guy here. The igniter is powered through, let's follow the black wire. So this black wire comes up here, comes and powers this guy. This black wire here jumps over there, comes up, and powers into the bottom there. It also comes down and powers, or sends power to the ignition control. Ignition control decides to send power to him there. And the last one is power comes into this switch. If this is normally closed, it is. It comes through the switch and comes to the fan here. When this switch here, which is your fan switch, closes, it closes and goes through the blue all the way down to the medium high. So I powered this guy with this guy. This is switch number 1. I powered this guy with this guy. That switch is internal to that ignition control. And this guy is powered through this guy here. If you take a look, this transformer gets powered from the normally closed switch between right here that's normally closed on the limit side here. When you draw out your diagram, we also have to figure out what 24 volt switches turn what on. So let me switch this over back to the orange. 24-volt switches. So let's go R and W is a 24-volt switch. When you turn R and W, W sends power through a vent safety switch and to this furnace relay. This is a load. So this load goes back to C. See this guy right here. Yep. So this guy comes, jumps over that, comes here, bing, 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 down to C. So R and C are the power, switch, switch, load. That load closes that switch and turns on that motor. There also is power coming out of this guy through the flame rollout, waiting for the pressure switch. The pressure switch closes when this guy gets energized. When it closes, it sends power over to the ignition control, the TH on the ignition control. When TH on the ignition control gets powered, the first thing it's going to do is turn on the gas, the igniter, 30 seconds, whatever, and then it will send power through the main valve to the gas valve. The gas valve goes back to C. So you will see here, there's your TR, which is your transformer back to C. Once it lights the gas, the flame sensor senses the flame. You notice that we have most everything taken care of except for when you want to run air conditioning. This is where the fan center comes in. When you want to run air conditioning, what happens here is R and G close right here, R and G. When R and G close, it powers this relay here. That relay switches this guy. These guys opens that and sends the power. I'm going to switch back to green. Oops, right here. Sends power through this now normally, or this now closed switch down through and powers the high speed. That way you'll never power high and medium high at the same time. Okay, so this is the explanation of your wiring diagram. I will come up with a quick video on how to draw it out, but if you look really hard and open up your Simugas furnace software and take a look at the electrical diagram, you will see that it is very similar to what this is going to look like. So you can use that as a template. All right, so one more video will come how to draw out a ladder diagram. Thanks.